let's talk about more bug development and hormones, and again, I promise that's not as boring as it sounds, there's some really fucked up shit sometimes. So in insects, as they go from the larval form to the adult form, they have a bunch of hormonal changes. You know, when you hit puberty and your body starts changing, except you're a bug. So one of these hormones is called the juvenile hormone, and its function is to stop the insect from transitioning into its adult form before it's supposed to. So the juvenile hormone is in high levels in the blood, and so when the larva goes through a molt stage, it makes sure that it goes into its next juvenile form instead of into adult before it's ready. Then when the juvenile larva reaches a critical mass, which basically the right size, then the juvenile hormone will turn off and it will start its final juvenile molt before it goes into an adult. And when it comes out of that molt, it will be its adult, fully mature form. Pretty basic, pretty easy, right? But science has come along and was like, what if no? So these are mealworms. If you have a pet like a lizard or sometimes birds, sometimes like hedgehogs and rats and stuff, you probably are familiar with these because they're a very common pet food for things that need high levels of protein. And mealworms are a very cheap and easy way to get it. So much so that they're even used in culinary, like lots of cultures eat mealworms. Again, easy, cheap, convenient source of lots of protein. What pet keepers who use mealworms may not be familiar with is this is the adult mealworm, and often they do not get to transition into adults because they are eaten in their worm stage. So they just don't get to grow into adults before they're eaten, whatever, circle of life. Where scientists have come in and been like, hey, what if we fucked up this bug's genes? And they did. So this on top is a regular mealworm. This bad boy is a giant mealworm. How these giant mealworms arise is they get their genes messed with. So what some scientists have developed are these giant mealworms with the gene that turns off the juvenile hormone, so stops it from being expressed and allows them to I just lost my entire train of thought, allows them to transform into the adult beetle form. They have knocked that out. So there is nothing to turn off the juvenile gene, and so they just stay as a juvenile forever, and they never turn into a beetle, and they get fucking massive. So once they reach their critical mass, instead of doing their final molt into an adult, they just do another molt and become a larger worm. And this continues on and on until you get a really fucking big worm instead of an adult beetle. And so, yeah, just imagine you're one of these worms. Any day now you're expecting to molt and turn into an adult, but no, you just keep getting fucking bigger. And that's not supposed to happen. And that's kind of just super fucked up, because imagine going through a constant state of puberty forever and just keep getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. Giant mealworms.